There's a woman spending 6 hours a day creating TikTok videos, hoping that the algorithm rewards her. She is, without realizing it, working for TikTok for free. And there's a restaurant owner who built something so special that the moment he tried to open a second location, the magic disappeared. Two completely different traps, same root problem, not understanding how systems use people instead of the other way around. That's what today's chapters are about. That's where we're starting today with Godin's This Is Strategy, chapters 161 through 200. Welcome to the Leadership Lounge. Ooh, I feel like dancing.
Good.
Welcome to the Leadership Lounge Book Club. I'm Chris Duncan, joined today by Alan Edwards, Shannon McCoy, and Jay Jacobson. Good to have everybody here. If you're watching live on YouTube, LinkedIn, or Facebook, we can see your comments, so give us some feedback, ask a question, or leave a comment. We're happy to respond. If you want to join us live next week, let us know through the myriad of social platforms available to you, or you can email. That one's always a good choice. If you need to catch up on some chapters, want the weekly reminders, need the links to the show or whatever, it's all at sedaris.com/book club. That's Sedaris, CDAERIS.com/book club. Alan, what are the rules today?
The first rule of book club is we always talk about book club. Yay.
Thank you.
All right. So this week we covered chapters 161 through 200 of This Is Strategy by Seth Godin. The assignment was to come ready with your favorite chapter and your least favorite chapter. And all that's really just to start a discussion about why those things were your best or your least favorite chapters. I think we'll start with Jay today. But first, a quick word from our sponsors. If you're an outsourced IT service provider and want to stop sifting through resumes and start building your team, MSP Hire is for you. Get the right hire the first time. Start building the team you've always wanted. MSPHire.com. Thank you for sponsoring MSP Hire. So Jay, what was your favorite chapter and why?
Well, this was an interesting week for me because it started off as my least favorite chapter. And I'm talking about chapter 185, Everyone is Always Right. And just by the title of it, it was like it was rubbing me the wrong way because everybody's not always right. But as I dived into it, and it brought me back to another concept that I had read in another book called Crucial Conversations that talks about when we're having conversations and when we're talking with people, particularly people who are right. Yeah, they are right, but their story is different. And they run their story through a filter before they feed it back to you. And when you start looking at everyone being right from their frame of mind, from the experiences they've had, the stories they tell themselves, and that's what they're reflecting back to you, this chapter made a lot of sense. And just in the fact that it reminded me of a concept that I had absorbed previously in another work. So it was kind of surprising. But I think, as leaders, we have to look at the people that surround us, that we're working with, the people, our clients that we're working with, when they come at us with something that sounds off the wall, they're processing it through the story that they tell themselves first. So their experiences, what they've lived before. And so as leaders, we need to absorb that. We need to look at that and understand where they're coming from. We don't have to agree with them, but it helps if we understand where they're coming from.
I would be interested to trace back that customer service statement that the customer is always right. And I'm curious if these two things are grounded in the same thing or if it's just a new take, because the customer's never always been right, but realizing that they're right from their perspective. And as he repeats over and over in these chapters, people are going to do what they're going to do.
Yeah.
Right. We can't necessarily change that.
Yeah.
So figure it out and embrace it.
And we meet the people where they are. Our customer, we meet them where they are. If they disagree with us, it's our job to, in a constructive way, help them realize the wrongs of their ways, so to speak, to help them figure out why our point of view might be a little bit different, might have things in it that they didn't possibly consider, but always keeping in mind their life story and what brought them to this point is completely different than what ours was.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Thanks for sharing, Jay.
Mm-hmm.
Shannon, did you want to give us your favorite chapter?
Sure. I've had about three, but I'll wrap it 182 and 183 together. Let's do it that way because it's 182 was thoughts on pricing, which wrapped into 183 strategies require empathy. So empathy. So when I looked at that, I thought, okay, so the thoughts on pricing, we're talking about, since it's all about strategy and systems, it's really talked to us about when we're thinking of price, what are we basing it on? What is the customer thinking? What is the client thinking? And I think it went in a little bit deeper when it slid into 183 strategies require empathy, because the empathy is putting yourself in their shoes and their trying to listen to their feedback and find out exactly why they would pay this price, why they wouldn't pay this price. Go into a little bit of deeper thought when we're creating a strategy, and looking at it the way they would, instead of only thinking about what we view as the value we believe they should pay. We believe that our experience is this should be the amount, or this is why we should bump the price. That's not necessarily what they're thinking, right? They may be thinking that there's a lot of different ways to compare it, but the thing is that we need to humble ourselves enough to figure out what their thoughts are on it, so that we understand their concept behind their price and why I invest it. I'm thinking of the mastermind that I'm launching, because that really hit home with me. It's like, okay, of course I can strategize to the end of time, but I do need to understand how they're thinking, why they're thinking. There's value or where there's missed value. So that's how I applied that one. I thought that it hit home for me pretty good.
It's interesting. I didn't quite connect chapters 182 and 183, but 183 was on my discussion point list as well. Because I found about 5 different chapters, and there was a run of 183 to 185 that had this in there as well, where I kept seeing something that was resonating with me, which is you can't argue someone into changing, right? You have to build that story. You have to build a path so that people who already want to go down that path can find it and join you on your journey. So you just have to help them feel right, which is why you have to understand that their view is the right way. You have to help them feel right and just get out of the way. And or as Zig Ziglar said, it's not a salesperson's job to lead a horse to water. It's a salesperson's job to make the horse thirsty.
Yeah. I actually had both of these chapters footnoted back to 185. And I think the most telling thought that I pulled out of it is money tells a story, and the price is the way of telling that story. And it's exactly those 3 chapters together kind of all pull that together as to why the customers' thoughts and where they're coming from becomes so important when we start putting strategy together.
Yeah. There's I think I'll probably butcher this, but I'll give it a try. I think it was Jonathan Swift, and maybe it wasn't actually attributed to Jonathan Swift, but that it's useless to attempt to reason a man out of a thing he was never reasoned into. And that comes to mind, meaning that if your beliefs are what brought you there, you can't use logic to bring somebody to change somebody's mind if they were brought to that decision by oh, how am I getting this? Okay. I told you I was going to screw this up. Anyway, yeah, someone will do this better than me for sure. But anyway, if they were brought to a conclusion by an irrational means like emotion, you can't use logic to change their minds. You have to use emotion to change their mind. And a lot of these chapters fed into that idea for me that everybody has to be in the same space, and the same logic and the same emotions have to be there when people are making decisions and career paths and systems in place to be in alignment with each other. So
here's a quote. Actually, I had not talked about this book much with my wife. It's not her style, unlike the last book, The Let Them Theory. But I sent her a quote this morning related to this. We can show up with a story that resonates, and we can create the conditions for people to make different choices, but we cannot easily persuade someone that they are wrong.
mhm.
I've we're always wondering like, oh, I wish someone would do this other thing or do it different ways. Like that's not our job. We can't control that.
Yeah.
I think that's where the application. I was listening closely to what Jay was talking about in your comments about what he shared at the beginning there, Alan. When I was looking at 183 strategies require empathy, I was that's what I was thinking too about being wrong and right. Like, because I look at some of these masterminds and that in comparison, or I could say competitors, and I think, okay, they're doing it wrong. I don't understand why they would do this. They need to do this. They need to do that. Well, it's going to be different for each and every niche. It's going to be different for what a CEO sees as the most value at meeting up regularly with like-minded CEOs. And it's going to be different between a realtor. It's going to be different between coaches and authors, So that's where this thinking, having empathy and coming up with a strategy that's based on what they see as value is huge. I mean, so even if you don't have it right off the bat, you definitely want to go down this thread and figure it out over time. And so I thought that was the message.
What chapter 185 was on my list of favorites, and it says literally that exact thing, that the systems create conditions for our actions. Anyone who consistently takes an action is doing it because based on who they are, what they see, what they believe, and the feedback loop that they're in. And at that moment, those are the exact right things to do. So from wherever they're standing in the universe, that's the correct decision for them at that time.
I almost got tired of hearing the word feedback loop in this section of chapters, not because it was bad or overdone, but because it kind of pissed me off that it's true. That we have all this noise and these things that are happening, and these systems are always just bringing us right back. I made a little summary of a few other chapters about working on the system and not in it. And I think bottom line, what it's saying is you're either working the system or it's working us. And that's those feedback loop systems always bringing us back like, oh, that felt good to be a part of the existing system. Now, Chris, in your intro for Leadership Lounge today, you talked about TikTok and another business. I'm curious if you would like to expound upon that.
Well, this one ended up being my least favorite chapter, but I thought that it made a compelling intro. So, so skipping ahead to my least favorite chapter, Alan, the story is about a friend's niece who was asked what her career path was, and her career path was making TikTok videos. The moral of it was that she was spending hours every day making TikTok videos, developing videos, and hoping to build a following so that she could be rewarded. This was my least favorite chapter because I felt like this was a Captain Obvious moment where she was working for the system. So she was doing something that she thought was going to get benefit to her, but it was probably not commensurate to the number of hours she was contributing to the system. So she was spending 6 hours a day making TikTok videos. She was getting $25 out of it. She could have got more working at your favorite fast food joint. But TikTok benefited immensely from her content, right? So there was an imbalance in that.
So what's the difference in an entrepreneur who spends months building their business before they get their first client and what she's doing?
The chapter argues that she's not unique. The chapter argues that she's exactly the same as the 150,000 other TikTokers that are trying to do exactly the same thing, and therefore she hasn't niched herself, and therefore she probably won't be successful.
Yeah, and she's working in the system, not on the system. So she is at the mercy of whatever they do. Change their algorithms. For example, my events venue that I own, our Instagram was shut down by Meta 2 months ago. It was painful. And people are like, what do we do? Like, we got to fight to get it back. Like, sure, we can fight to get it back, but what are we going to do? How are we going to work on our system instead of staying stuck in their system to find better ways to market and get the word out about events?
Yeah.
Well, the other concept that's important here, particularly with the TikTok videos, is if you're the same as everybody else, you're a commodity. So you go to the lowest price. But if you can find a way to sell what is different, then you become something unique, and people are willing to pay a higher price for something that's unique, because people don't buy similarities. Unless it's a commodity, they buy what's different, what's better, what stands out. So I think that's a good lesson in that kind of marketplace, any kind of social media. If you are the same as everybody else and repeating the same things everybody else is doing, you're not going to achieve the kind of success that you're hoping for.
Yeah. Yeah. There was one sentence in that, this is chapter 163 for those playing along at home, that really annoyed me because it broke up the whole thought of the chapter, which was someone is going to win the lottery, but it's probably not going to be her.
Mhm.
And I felt like that's true, but it felt so out of place. And I was hoping you guys might have some insight to that, because I don't know what his angle on that was. That felt like it was just tossed in there as a little, by the way, she's not going to win the lotto.
I think it's like talking to your son who wants to be a basketball star, right? He's like,
Yeah.
the odds of you actually making money playing basketball are very low. Now you could win the lottery and manage to be good enough, not get injured and get scouted properly.
Yeah.
But it's so few people. It's a tough row to hoe.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's that dad question. What's your plan B?
Oh, Dad, support my dreams.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very good. Well, if I had to pick a least favorite, it'd probably be 188, systems and games and feedback loops. It wasn't a bad chapter, but it was just so dense, hard to read. It was just listed like 16 different ways to do what, I don't even know, like just 16 different things you can do.
It didn't go anywhere.
I didn't go anywhere. I was like, oh, come on, like what are we building toward? But it was just a list.
Yeah.
And I have a question for the group, if I can find this note here. There was one chapter that I didn't understand. 196, user systems when they are forced to change. I read it. It was a nice story. I have no idea what the title had to do with the chapter.
Well, there's your mistake, trying to judge a book by its cover.
Well, I read it, and it was just talking about how the system of printing books has evolved and why they still do some things in the old way.
Mm-hmm.
Yet some other things are also changing. But it says user systems when they were forced to change. And so I'm like, is there a method? Is this a parable? Is it a stories? Or like, I don't know the point.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. What's the practical steps in, like, what is he telling us we should do or be on the lookout for? This is the way you do it. That would be nice.
Like you mentioned that books are still delivered in fall and spring because the river they used to be delivered on was frozen. And I'm like, and they still do that today. And I'm like, but is that a good thing? Is that what he meant by it? I don't know. I couldn't tell.
Well, with the book scenario, if you look at the biggest disruption that we've seen in our modern times is the advent of Amazon. So now you can get books the next day. You don't go to the library anymore. You order it from Amazon. It shows up at your doorstep. You don't have to wait until you get to the bookstore to buy something. So it completely disrupted that system. So now there's a new system in place. But it revealed that there was a convenience factor that we all craved that we didn't know we had, and that the bookstore didn't know we wanted, that the publishers didn't know that we wanted. And so now you take that one step further, and I look at this from the author's standpoint. Now Amazon prints books as they're ordered. You don't have a stack of 1,000 books sitting there waiting to be sold. Somebody orders a book, they send it to their instant printer, and the printer prints it up, binds it, and ships it out within a week. And so you don't have the high overhead costs that you once had. So it makes that accessibility for new authors that much greater. But those are things that really disrupted the system. And I think that's a lot what this is talking about. It revealed those kind of deficiency in the way that we were doing things.
Yeah. Chapter 166 was very similar. It was the one about NPR losing out to the podcasting. And I wasn't sure where this was going until I think probably the very last sentence where it said that new technology changes the rules and something.
Yeah.
And I think that's that idea, is that you don't know till you don't know until someone tries it, because they have a niche. Amazon solved a niche, filled the problem, and we all loved it.
It's funny, Chris, as I highlighted the exact same sentence of that chapter, just the last sentence.
Yeah, he could have.
I also wrote a word to describe it, which is that it's protectionism. Right? They were like, we're going to protect the way we do it because airwaves are what we own that no one else has, that we can control. But as people were leaving the airwaves, they even said they were actually ahead of the curve in understanding what was happening. But the system of individuals who had radio stations, who were the decision makers in this case, they wanted to protect themselves instead.
Yeah. Yeah.
Build the system.
Yeah.
So I know we skipped over my favorite one because we went straight to my least favorite one.
It's all organic. Go for it.
Yeah, I know. Well, I don't want to miss out on the fun of having a favorite one. And maybe it's just because I like the story, but I liked 184, which was Dorothy and her crew. This one resonated with me because the idea here is that what Godin says is that Dorothy didn't persuade the Lion, the Tin Man, and the Scarecrow to join her on her trip to save the wizard. What she did instead was create conditions where the others could get what they wanted out of that trip. So, and I'm going to probably get this wrong. Let's see. The Lion Man gets his heart, the Tin Man gets a brain, and the Scarecrow got a heart. I don't remember. Anyway, so they all get something out of the transaction. And they probably all need a heart, don't they? Except for the Lion. Yeah. This is a different podcast. We'll discuss the merits of who gets hearts. But anyway, this felt very, very salesy to me, in that this is modern sales. You don't sell anymore. What you do is create conditions where everybody gets what they want. You need tools. You need objects. We need things. Amazon does it. This is how we operate today. We don't get sold. We get something out of every transaction.
All right, great. We're about at that time where we want to turn this back to how can we apply these things in leadership and in our businesses today. But before we do, a quick message from our sponsor, Sedaris Agency. Do I have this written down somewhere? Oh, good. Do I?
I got it. I got this one.
You do it. Thank you. There it is. I said, go for it.
Yep. The Leadership Lounge is also sponsored by Sedaris Agency. Sedaris helps businesses own. Maybe I don't have this, Alan.
Helps business owners who feel stuck get unstuck. Whether that's scaling the business up, getting back to dinners with the family, or ideally both. Thank you, Sedaris Agency, for sponsoring. There's also a QR code if you're interested in taking a crack at our brand new group coaching program. We have a discount, which probably won't last more than a week or two. Give it a try. All right, Chris, what are the rules for bringing it back?
Well, let's see. I'm taking back this one, feedback loop. That's my big takeaway from the week. Because it's like you said, it's littered everywhere, and I think it's a good reminder that we should be looking for that feedback in the things that we build. That's an odd one but that's how my brain worked.
All right, so Jay, if you wanted to teach somebody from these 40 chapters what they should take away, take it to the office today, what would it be?
I would say make sure you walk in the other person's shoes. Come at the problem from their perspective, and together you will come up with a better solution than either one of you would have if you had done it on your own.
Very good.
Well,
Shannon.
Yeah, I think that I would use the example of pulling a group together to for any particular purpose. When we're looking at strategy, to start thinking about what it is what do the people want out of it? Who's there? Is it the facilitator? Is it the tools that you use? What brings the value, and does that value, and why do they see value in it? So do your research.
Yeah. These are all good ones. I haven't even talked about this part yet, but one of the things that I recall being struck in this section was the whole on versus in the system, which is if you're a leader, there is great comfort in working the system, following your SOPs, doing the things that are expected of you like everyone else does, because it's easy, it's done. You can go, yep, I'm on a level playing field, everybody else, good to go. But really, when you want to push your career forward, when you want to push your team forward and your business forward, I feel like you have to get back to creating your own systems that, of course, leverage existing systems if you're going to win and improve.
Yep. I think that does.
That's just me. I know I frequently bounce back and forth with, the comfort of doing what everyone else is doing, and then back to, okay, let's do what people aren't doing. Let's swim upstream. It's exhausting sometimes.
Yep, indeed. All right, let's see. So next week, we're going to cover chapters 200 through 240. Please come prepared with your favorite chapter, your least favorite chapter, and how we're going to apply it to next week and why.
Chris, is there a chance we're going to put out a poll for our next book in the next week?
Oh, are we at that time yet? Oh, I guess we only got to go to, there's how many weeks left? We got to go to 297
weeks left.
So really 2 weeks if we cram an extra a whapping 7 chapters. Subtle nonverbal cues.
I didn't say a word.
We will see about that. My motivation for polls is strong. It is a feedback loop, and I do like feedback loops. Not null loops, but mostly feedback ones. Please like and subscribe to your favorite channel if you're watching us non-live. That would be YouTube, LinkedIn, or Facebook. Thank you to our hosts, Alan, Shannon, and Jay. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you to our sponsors, SP Hire and Sedaris Agency. See you next week. Same time, same place, Thursday at noon Pacific. Bring your book, bring your thoughts, and we'll see you then. Thank you.